For most people, Friday is just a day before the weekend.
Good morning. Here.
Here's a message of importance to millions of people who are continually pale and washed out, weak and run down. Doctors will tell you that these conditions are often caused by a deficiency of iron. The iron you need to keep you physically fit and mentally alert. Medical studies show that 2 out of 3 women and many, many men lack the daily iron your body requires in a form your body can easily use and put to work. Every dose gives you more than your daily minimum iron requirement.
We are awake, we are awake, we are not alone. We are striving for more.
So if you're not getting the iron your body needs,
We are awake, we are awake, we are not alone.
if you feel weak, run down, and are easily upset,
We are striving for more.
start taking iron today.
This is Michael Tyson. You probably know me better as Iron Mike, but I don't go by Iron Mike no more because I used to be a monster. I'm a different person now. I'm all about happiness. But what is happiness? I'll tell you what happiness is. Every time I listen to my favorite show, Iron Realm Media. It's a truther show on YouTube.
I'm starting off fresh and I feel good. I look good. I smells good. I am good. Happy Friday, my friend.
And a very, very happy Friday, my friends. TGIF. Welcome to Have No Sphere right here on the Iron Realm Media YouTube channel. And boy, it's a Friday. And it's one of those unusual Fridays for us. We actually have a guest and a goal and a direction, and we're not just out here talking out of our butts like we generally do. So let's just jump right into it and start saying hello to folks while I try to get things going. Here, that's what I want right there. We're going to start off with one Mr. Zachary Zabala. You might recognize him from his channel here on YouTube, Good Times for All. Zach, how you doing tonight?
Well, hey there, Josh. Not too shabby, I would say. Not a bad day. Cooled off a bit. Been raining all day. Didn't play too much with my toys today. I've been thinking I did get some edging instead of PVC pipe. They wanted like $40 for it. I got $12 of 3-inch HVAC bendable. It's 8 feet long, but it's only like this long, you know, and then it stretches out and I can wrap it around the edge. I'm going to cut the top off and then build like a cardboard sled down 2 different sides into cups.
Nice.
Right at the edge. It's going to be perfect. Awesome idea, Josh. Thank you so much.
I'm a problem solver, if nothing else.
You are?
Sand boat for everybody that wants to know what they're talking about. They're building a moat to catch the sand.
Yes. At the edge of the shaker. What is it? Cladney. The Cladney plate.
It's the Cladney plate. It's
Cladney
German.
plate.
Cladney plate.
German.
You
And you shake it and it makes all the different.
CHL.
And I was actually making the cool cymatic patterns. I'm getting it tuned in finally with good sand and everything, and you get it nice and level. Now I need to get some kind of apparatus to hold it that I can set the speaker in there at the right angle. I want to put some of this like foam stuff down there so it's like not rigid and bouncing around. It'll have a little bit of wiggle room in there to vibrate around. So yeah, it's coming along. Almost time to start playing.
What you need is something like the suspension rigs that they use on the microphones. So it's got the bands that it kind of holds it in place, and then the bands absorb all the shock and insulate it from vibration that way.
I bet I could make something like that. A little bit of wire, like the gauge they used to make fencing and stuff. You can bend it kind of easily and whatnot.
Like a large cattle panel. Maybe you could cut up a cattle panel and turn it into around something.
Or just get a long thing of that wire that they used to tie it together and stuff. Yeah. I'll come up with something. But thank you again, sir. Great idea.
Oh, sir. Glad it didn't cost you $40 for a PVC pipe. Jeez.
Yeah, I was like, no, I'm all right, guys. That's no. Too much.
Well, why don't we wander out to the porch and say hello, Mrs. Cammy Nodal. You might recognize her from her channel here on YouTube as Aisling717. Why, 717 was just the other day, wasn't it?
Why, yes. Yes, it was. I'm like officially older than dirt. That's true.
Well, congratulations on being older than dirt.
Thank you. It was a good birthday.
You know, the only way
Yes,
to
I'm
catch
like-
up to dirt is if dirt dies. Otherwise, you just keep
Crystallize,
getting
that's
the same age every year. But if you're now older than dirt, the only way that
I'm
happens
older.
is if dirt dies. So, our sympathies to dirt. But congratulations to you. Ha ha ha. Catch him in the long run.
Yeah.
I got to say it real quick. Big shout out to David Banner in chat. Says, I've just taken some RSO, so I might flake out sometimes. That is
So that would
good
definitely help with
medicine.
technology, my friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
David Banner, I'm hoping that you're taking it not for too serious of a reason, but it is amazing stuff. It works miracles.
Pretty serious reasons. Just
Pretty
saying.
serious reasons.
We know someone that's taking it for some serious reasons and seeing some amazing
Amazing results.
effects.
But it does kick your butt a little bit. It will make you out of it sleepy, spacey, and just really, really fatigued. But compared to the alternative, it's not such a bad way to be. Sending blessings and sending all kinds of good feelings on the RSO and hoping it's working some miracles on you. I have seen miracles with it. I've witnessed it personally. So sending you again all the best. And I'm not out on the porch, Josh. I am actually being lazy. I tried to make it so it wasn't quite so noisy. But I like the breezing of that from outdoors. So this is the outside. But I'm sitting like this is like the corner of my bedroom where you can go out onto the sunroom and that. So I'm actually sitting just in the corner of my room by the window, but I'm on the inside.
Well, you'd never know by looking.
You'd never know. Just trying to, this window above it, and I've got the door open. If I close it, it would be like that. But again, was just going to do it in the corner, but I missed the feeling of that like natural breeze on. And it's a beautiful day right now. We've got storms going through, 75 degrees, which is perfect. What is that in Celsius? Anyone?
21 degrees. I'm not sure. Let me,
75 to...
You need 75. Okay, wait. What do you want now?
75 Fahrenheit to... Is that what we are right now?
Yeah.
There was one.
23.8. So right around 24
9.
degrees.
Yeah,
Oh,
just about
uh-oh.
24 degrees. It's really nice.
Got to subtract
liking
30
it.
and divide it by 2. Is that how you get a close approximation? 75 to
Something like that.
45. Divide to
Type it
45
into
by
my
2.
phone.
45 divided by 2 is what? 22 and a half? What'd you say it was, Zach? You said 21 and change? See, it's close.
0.889. Up.
looking good. There we go.
You've joined our balloon
Love
patch.
that shirt,
People,
Jesse.
the people on the screen don't get to see what we're looking at.
That's an awesome
it's a little
shirt.
bit disturbing, but good, but fun. When we're looking at the screen, we see we are all in a little bubble balloon patch with popping up in that. And
Well, that's actually the only you
we
see
have
that screen.
Can you show
Only
that?
you see that right now.
Only I see that.
Yeah.
So I'm the
Cammy,
only
that's that
one seeing
RSO
this?
you were talking about.
Oh my god! I'm sitting here playing with the balloons. I am lighting the balloons on fire. I'm trying to pop the balloons. I didn't know if you noticed it. I thought you guys were all seeing the balloons. We're all just popping out of a little balloon patch.
She just duped it.
I even moved my computer back to position myself in a better position in the balloons, but never mind. Move on to the next person. I'm thinking that's really, really, really RSO for you, Banner. Just let you know what you got coming up for you.
Right.
All right. Well, we can wander on down south. Say hello to Mr. Walter Johnson. He's got a channel here on the YouTube's called Flat Earth. Walter Howard.
Yeah, he does. Look, you guys hear, oh man, I've lost everything. I've lost the pictures. I've lost the call. You guys hear me yap every morning. The only thing new is, guys, I've lost 2 cats recently. Michelle sent me this meme, pretty much sums it up for me and us and the cat situation. Every time we lose a couple, God sends another one. Because this little dude showed up a couple days ago.
Oh, wow.
Damn, Smokey.
Oh, it's not playing. It's not playing. Anyway, you get the idea. So he's a new dude. I'm going to call him Smokey or maybe Ash, one of those. But that's enough of my cat news update. We got a guest. He's finally struggled through all the fun he was having with cameras and gotten on here. So instead of my yapping, I'll shut up and we will say hello to our guest. Why don't you introduce him, Zachariah?
Yeah, this is a gentleman who actually interviewed me, gave me my very first book interview, which I appreciate so much. It was really, really touched me because nobody's really asked to do any type of thing like that about the books. And yeah. And I wasn't sure what I was going to get, Jesse was kind of new to me. He's been at it a while, had some big channels that have been, when you try and speak the truth, they don't like that. And they'll get rid of your channels and make you start all over, but they didn't make him quit. He kept going and he's interviewed some really big people. You guys got to go over there and check out his channel. Just really amazing work he's done over the years. And he has the Missing Link Live channel and then his backup channel, because he's learned, like we have our backup channel, you have to nowadays, is the High Vibe Love Tribe channel. And that's where you can find the interview that I did with Jesse. But yeah, really great guy. I could tell just by the chat, the comments from his chat, that he's a really good guy. You could tell that, he just attracts good people. It reminded me of being here at the Realm with you all. So everybody be real nice. And yeah, just be yourselves. You guys are already real nice. But yeah, I'd like to welcome in Jesse. How are you doing, man? You got in.
I'm doing okay. It was a little bit of struggle. I don't really use this Skype too much. Just my mom likes Skype, and we Skype with my sister and my daughter and stuff, but I've never done it on an interview like this. And I went on my computer and my Skype wasn't linked, and I don't, my 5 years expired on Microsoft, so they want all kinds of stuff. And I was trying to get in and I just went on my phone. So I'm actually, that's why you see me kind of maybe at this angle. I'm still trying to figure out the computer while I'm here on the phone. So at least I was able to get in, and you can actually, I don't know.
Found the workaround. There you go.
Yeah, you can see me, I think. I can see everybody.
Yeah, we see you. Yeah, we definitely see you, man. Thank you for figuring it out. And we all understand. What's hilarious, though, is it's the mom reference. I was joking beforehand how, like, these old fuckers on this Flat Earth show with their damn old Skype, dude. We've literally been using it almost since day one, that and Zoom.
Almost
hard to change your way.
Well, what's up, Jesse? My
But
name is
yeah.
Josh. It's good to have you here. Thanks for coming to hang out with us.
Yeah, well, thanks for asking me. It's always nice to be asked. I'm always the one that's asking people to come on our show. We've done like 820 shows in interviews in about 3.5 years, a little less than 3.5 years. And we've interviewed some really, really, well-known people in the world, and just anybody and everybody that's kind of got a story to tell that's being censored. We're kind of giving a voice to the voiceless, and introducing people that most people don't know to the world. And our audience keeps getting bigger, which is nice, because we're, like most other people, very shadow banned, very censored, not promoted. We've had 4 YouTube channels deleted. My 13-year Facebook page got deleted just before we held our first Truth Telethon. So we just keep persevering. They try to hinder progress. They stopped us allowing to get Facebook stars with no restrictions, no money. They just stopped putting the star function there. It's just all the weird stuff that's happening. But we really enjoy the work that we're doing, and we're happy to be able to connect with so many amazing people, like we were able to with Zach.
So over 800 shows in 3.5 years. That's a lot of.
That's Harry Chapin style stuff right there, dude. That's a lot of work in a short amount of time. Yeah. How many? That's got to come out to a few a week, isn't it?
Well, we did 1 show on Thursday, and then 2 shows on Thursday, then 3 shows on Thursday. So it was back to back to back. And then we added a Wednesday show, then a second Wednesday show, then added a Tuesday show, then added a second Tuesday show, then added a Monday show. And all of a sudden we were doing like 8-9 shows in 3-4 days. So we decided after about a year of that to go to just 1 show a day. So we do one Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, but we're booked all the way for the rest of July, the rest of August, the rest of September, and then we're first week of October is already booked. So sometimes we have to reschedule people or add people. So then we're back to 2 shows in a day sometimes. And like all next week, we got 2 shows in a day. It's pretty crazy how this thing has just got a life of its own. But I think when we're going to hit 1,000, we'll be at 4 years. So it'll be average about 250 shows per year.
Wow.
That's insane.
That's awesome. That really is. So what?
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. I mean, dude, we whine and complain about our little 4 shows a week. I am daunted by looking at these amazing people you've had, including a lovely lady, the show of which I just dropped that we're all very familiar with and love a whole lot. That one with Rose 77 is one I'll be watching very soon. So, but just looking through this list, yeah, brother, you guys have been nailing, crushing. I will definitely be playing catch up here for some time. Good stuff.
And I'm not sure if you all use Rumble at all, but if anybody does watch any of our shows previous, almost all of our shows are on our Rumble channel, all 800. Probably there's about 700 there. First, maybe like some aren't there, but they actually give us credit for people watching on our Rumble channel. So that's actually one platform that, is monetized, I guess. And just by people watching on Rumble, they send, money every month. So it's nice that, we're actually getting a little bit of something for all the work that we're putting in.
That's nice.
And that might be one of the only links of yours I don't see us having, man.
I'm pretty sure
if we don't have it in this list you do? Okay. I'm just not seeing it because I was going to share it again in chat.
Almost positive. When I say when
there's
I
so
put
many,
it in
I'm
there.
everybody go to the show description because the amount of stuff that they have available, yeah, crazy.
And it's every type of interview from every walk.
See, there we go.
You're going to enter. You're going to, maybe align with or like some and not think that that person's crazy or that's a shill or whatever. But we just kind of let God lead the way and whatever happens, happens. And, we don't really have any rhyme or reason, but we've interviewed people like David Icke and Del Bigtree and Corey Good and Flat Earth Dave and all kinds of, all kinds of people, 80 doctors that speak out against the medical tyranny. So we just kind of, however things present itself, we just kind of figure out how to put them into the rotation and just interview everybody.
Man, that's awesome. That's a lot of different people and different topics. So you really touch on everything. Just kind of just anybody who's sharing truth. Yeah, that's.
I see
Doing the
Austin
all
from
important,
Mellowdome.
making the permanent record, documenting it and bringing it out there. And again, what you're doing is priceless. So thank you.
That's one of the biggest things, I think, is that we're recording history of everybody that's speaking out during this pivotal time. So they can look back in 20 or 30 years and what the heck was it like in 2020 when all this craziness changed the world. And we're going to have a record, a history of everybody that's kind of been speaking out. And, from people that are very well known to just people that have just small channels, or maybe some people, like we've interviewed quite a few mothers who have lost their kids, had the kids stolen by the court systems and other things. So we're just everybody that's kind of, speaking out or things that are happening to them. We're looking to, make sure that history is being recorded about them. And we're on so many different platforms. Even if they trash one, we're on like 10 different platforms. So.
Now, you may have said this, and I'm sure you did, but I'm RSOing along with David in the chat. And so can you tell me again, when did you start doing this with it? What year did you really start getting into it?
So in 2020, so I've been kind of awake and aware to what's going on for 30 plus years. So I, kind of been rattling these cages. I was trying to, when we were 18, 19, I was trying to organize all the rough and tough people that I knew. Let's take back the government. And they all thought I was crazy. They just wanted to make money. And so, that's kind of how that was 30 years ago. So I've always been kind of known as kind of like the conspiracy Jesse or cult leader Jesse or all kinds of names people would want to call me because I didn't buy into the system and I never followed their rules. So, when 2016 came, when it came to Donald Trump, I didn't want Hillary Clinton, and I actually didn't mind him at all because I watched The Apprentice and I'm like, this is cool, a non-politician. And so I wrote in-depth pieces every single night. I'd just come home, smoke a joint, and then I would write all the things I knew about, Clinton and her little evil crew. And then I copy and paste it to every single political post that was out there. And I'd do it to 50, 60, 80, 100, 100 posts a night. I would just copy and paste the same thing so everybody knew. And I did that every single night for 6-7 straight months. And then in 2020, when all the craziness happened, I decided to pivot. And I didn't want to, they wanted the world in fear. And I didn't want to keep showing people how horrible these people are and the horrible things that they're doing. So there was a Meditate for the Earth Day with David Wilcock. And I told everybody, let's pray for the earth. Let's meditate for the earth. And I made it a big spectacle on all the social media platforms. And then when he went live, I actually went live and they were ringing their Tibetan singing bowls and I was ringing my Tibetan singing bowl. And all of a sudden, 20, 30, 40, 50 people jumped onto the live and they're like, oh, this is great. You got to come back tomorrow. So we decided to pivot while they wanted the world in fear. This was, I think, April of 2020. We decided we wanted to raise the vibration. So I'd, at 7 p.m. my time mountain, which was 9 p.m. Eastern, I would turn on the live. I would turn on some, high energy vibrational music, and I would dance in front of the camera for everybody, and I incorporated weights. And then after about an hour, we put on some guided meditation, some healing frequencies, some Tibetan singing bowl. I played bongo drum. I just spent 2 hours every single night entertaining people while they wanted the world afraid. We had a place, a safe space, and we called it the High Vibe Love Tribe. And that's where that backup channel came from. And, we mostly just did it on on Facebook, but YouTube was our kind of, once we got StreamYard and started to link onto some other platforms or whatever. But because that was going on, and at one point we were getting like 3,000 live views on Facebook per night. How crazy it was. We couldn't talk politics, couldn't talk what the heck was going on with these crazy stuff. It was just a nice, safe space that people could research all day. And because I was gaining lots of momentum, they asked me to be the host and MC of this Truth or Telethon. And I said, sure. I said, I'm about, making people aware. I will do whatever, even though I'm raising vibrations and, kind of being away from, sharing what the heck is going on. I said, I'm up for it. So 13 days before it was supposed to be on, the lady called me bawling her eyes out. Oh, we're not going to do it anymore. The people want to sell products and nobody's going to do it. And I said, look, me and you will put this thing on together. So we pulled this Truth Telethon, where we interviewed 26 truthers back to back to back, spent like 13 straight hours. I hosted, MC, got people, basically ran the whole show. And people said, Jesse, you found your calling. This is what you need to be doing. So the start of 2021 is we did another Truth Telethon, and then we did a third one, and then she just decided to cause all kind of hate and put everybody against each other. So I kind of left that little group and started our own show called The Missing Link Live, and that was in February of 2022, I believe. February of 2021, and it's been going strong ever since.
Well, I really, really enjoyed the one that you did with Zach, and I can't wait to watch the one you did with Rose. She's also a very, very good friend of mine, so I'm with you in that, Walt. Very, very nice.
When you go through the list, Cammy, you'll see many people. I just went.
Go through the list.
It's
Austin.
not a list, but when you see all the videos, it's an incredible amount of work.
Austin from Mellow Dome was interviewed. I saw
followed
he
David
was just here
Wilcox for years and years. By 2020, not as much as we did earlier. We were like really, really early on with him, but yeah, we did it when Bob had a reading done by him, and Carla Ruckhart, who did the Law of One work. So I'm really, really familiar with all the different David Wilcock, work all through the years and that. So yeah, very, very cool. So I'm going to recognize a lot of people on your list, I'm sure, because we covered a lot of the same different things. I've been doing this even longer than your 30 years. So there's just no way we can't cross over on this.
And we interview lots of people, like, again, in every single, so even like the people from like the Q Anon, the Q movements, like, we've interviewed like Gene Decode and Patriot Underground and Dave XRP Lion One. And for some reason, when we interview these guys, we get put on all these conspiracy websites. And so we're getting like, 30, 40, 50. Carrie Cassidy, that one had like 70,000 views, I think, just on that one. So,
right.
we for some reason, when you interview some of these kind of, I guess, people with bigger names, they get shared out a lot into these places. So we do end up reaching a lot of people with our interviews.
Yeah, we were just talking about that in Carrie Cassidy, and it was when David and Carrie got together, and that he flaked out a little bit there and got it together. But we went to a lot of his conferences and that years and years ago. Again, every little community has got its drama, and that was a flake out with David and Carrie and that. So again, it's fun hearing these names because I've met most of these people. It's again, fun. It'll be fun to go through the playlist and do it. It's like a history lesson. I'm glad somebody is putting it together and capturing the pieces. By the way, I'm Cammy.
Hi, Cammy. I'm Jesse.
Hi, Jesse.
Have you heard of
Sounds
that
like
lady?
Review.
What was that, Jess?
I was saying to Cammy, it sounds like she'd be someone good to interview as well.
Oh my goodness, Jesse, you couldn't do any better, brother. We were so fortunate to have Cammy be part of our team and hang out with us and share the things that she has shared with us.
In the background, but I seem to always be in the background where everything is always happening. So
She's
Just,
definitely
I
a
don't know
people
the muse in
watcher
the
as
room or
well.
that.
So I highly, do it. Definitely do it. We love us some Cammy here.
So what was
From
your
her
very first?
gemology to her ideas about the place we live to the way the world works that her and Zach do together. I'm sure Zach mentioned some of that, or he may not have been able to get to it. Zach has so many things to share with the world that, there could have been. I haven't had a chance to watch the whole thing yet. So, but yeah, man, we definitely have an overabundance of people with great ideas and things to share. So.
What was your first interview? Do you remember who you
Yes.
wanted to get on as your first guest?
Yeah, the very first one was Henna Maria. So she's an activist out of, I believe, Denmark, and she lives in Spain. She used to work at the United Nations, and she's just kind of like, she was someone that came on one of the Truth Telethons. So we had 3 Truth Telethons, which I had met quite a few people in the community, I guess, the truther community. So I had a whole list of names to start interviewing, and then we interviewed John Keane. We interviewed John Paul Rice. He was in the movie Remember the Titans, and he focuses on child trafficking and things like that within Hollywood. So he kind of got shunned from Hollywood because of not wanting to play ball, obviously, with them, and then has been making some movies. So we had at the beginning a 2-part show with him, and then I'm not sure if you guys know who. Who's that comedian? Oh, his head is off my. He's a political comedian, and he hammers both sides. He's got long hair. He used to be on RT television or Rush RT.
Russia Today.
Yeah. Name slips my head. We've interviewed him a few times, but he had like hundreds of thousands of YouTube followers, and I was watching him for years and years. And I just sent him an email, and I said, "Hey, I started this show called The Missing Link. Would you like to be interviewed?" And he emails me back. He's like, "Sure, when?" I was like,
Russell Brand?
No, not Russell Brand. His team actually politely declined when I reached out to them.
They usually do when real truthers come knocking. Oops, what did I say?
Was it like JP Sears or somebody like that, Curran? Or you're laughing at JP?
No, not JP Sears. Someone that's been around. Like he was actually even on mainstream news like 10 years ago. So he's a comedian, and then he's gone in to be a political comedian. And at the time, was when
this is like a quiz show, man.
It is like a quiz show.
I know. I want to know who it is.
Guess the long-haired comedian depicts on both sides of the politician. There's a lot.
Don't cheat. I'm trying to get it out of the ether here. Hang on, man. Because my first thought was Russell Brand too, and then she said it before I could get to it, and that wasn't it. So,
Lee Camp.
Wait, who?
Lee Camp is his name. So he's been around for a long time, and he's had like. At one point, I seen some of his, on YouTube, he was getting like 200,000-300,000 views on his channels. This was before the Russian television. And when he came on our show was in 2021, and he was still kind of in agreement with the injection. And I couldn't believe it. I thought, hey, someone awake and aware. And I was telling him, like, we had this big conversation, and then I could see the next time we interviewed him, he changed his tune. So I'm not sure if the conversation we had or just him seeing the stuff that was going on with, people, getting that thing, it was nice to see that he actually, seen it as not a good thing for people to be doing that.
I just shared a link to his channel because I have missed him, and I definitely see some stuff here I would be intrigued with and buy. So I will definitely be digging into him. And like I said, I dropped the link in our chat there on YouTube.
So he was big on the alternative Russian television, RT television or whatever. And then when that stuff happened with Ukraine, they canceled RT.
Right.
And so we interviewed him just after he got canceled. I think was the second or the third time. But for me, I I never knew about, like just him. Like I was watching his stuff for 10 years and I just emailed him and he was like, no problem. And then by show 15, we had David Icke, and a friend was interviewed by his son. And he said to me, he goes, hey man, he goes, have you ever, thought about interviewing David Icke's son? I don't even know who that is. I've never really followed the alien thing. So I knew who David Icke was just because of, people sharing his videos. And, he says,
it's hard not to know who David Icke is. Yeah.
Yeah. He's got some pretty profound things that he says. And so he's like, well, email his son and maybe ask him, if he'd like to come on, or maybe ask David. I didn't know his son. So I just said, hey, would your dad like to come on our show? And he said yes. And I couldn't believe that everybody at the height, when everybody was getting censored and shadow banned and all this, that all these people with very big names just started saying, yes, sure, I'd come. I didn't ever have a show before. It was just brand new opening this up. And I don't know if it was the name or how I, eloquently type an invite letter to somebody, but all of these big name people just started, coming on our show. And we had Del Bigtree. I think everybody knows who that is. I was pretty amazed that, these people that have, millions of people that watch them would just come on a show when, at the time we were only getting, 5,000-10,000 views at the time.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? How people are just people. It's we don't ask enough people, I don't think. We could reach out to some bigger names, I bet. We've just never really, I don't know.
I started saying about 6 years ago, we need to start punching up and asking for reaching out to just more well-known guests and try to get outside of our
we
comfort
have
zone.
Over the years reached out a few different directions to some bigger names, some bigger in the flat earth community, some bigger on TV. I mean, it just seems like yeah, we've been at this a while.
What I did was the very first year, so I wrote a nice invite letter, and then I was able to have some of these bigger name people like, that Lee Camp and David Icke. And once you have them on your list and send an invite letter, people, David Icke has been on his show. I should probably come on his show
and
too.
That does work. Absolutely.
I sent out the invite letter to hundreds and hundreds of people. Everybody that I seen a video, send them an invite. I just sent it out everywhere and then just let happen whatever happened. I didn't ever follow up. And then the people that were meant to come on the show came on the show.
Well, it's definitely, like I said, an impressive amount of work. So as what, like the life of your family, of your upbringing, of your background, I mean, you have to have a certain amount of open-mindedness to ever even start into an area that looks at truth in a real way and not just like, oh, those are crazy people. I'm going to watch my news and my sports ball and, wear my fashion or whatever the fuck gets people off that I don't understand in this world. What led you to be the person who would go down this path originally? I mean, was there something in school? Was there a certain book? Was it just your family had a certain otherness to them? What was it?
I'm not really sure why I was, become who I am today. But, when I've always loved people and I always seen this place as it was supposed to be, not the way it is. And I've always wanted to make this place better. And I didn't understand, I didn't learn English till I was 5 because my parents, they came over in 1968 when the Russians invaded. And they were in Vienna to get married, and then the Russians invaded their country, and they had a chance to either go back to the country that just got invaded or get granted amnesty in Canada or Australia, and they chose Canada. So they didn't know any English, and they came to Canada, and then had my sister who's 4 years older. My dad never wanted kids, and then when my mom got pregnant with me, she's like, after my sister, he said, that's it, no more kids. And so when she got pregnant with me, she hid the pregnancy from my dad until she was about 6 months pregnant. And she finally said, look, I'm pregnant and, having another baby. And he's like, we're getting rid of it. And so the whole time for the next 3 months until a week before I was born, my dad said they were getting rid of me. And then a week before I was born, my dad gave my mom $100 and said, go buy something for the kid. And, so it was rough being in, a place you want to look up to your dad, but it feels like he never liked me or wanted to spend any time with me or any of that kind of stuff. So that was strange. And then once I, started to learn English, was about 5 and, going to kindergarten, it seemed like I was a little bit behind, everybody else. And then by the time I was in grade 3, we moved to a new community. And then, that's when kind of like the bullying kind of started. And it was really weird that I was just different, I guess. And I don't know if it was like the English. I don't know if it was just because who I am. I never got any religious indoctrination because, I was born Catholic, got baptized, but never went to First Communion, never went to Bible study. So I didn't get any religious indoctrination forced on me at all. Didn't really know about any of that. And then in school, I, was more trying to make friends and with people than listening to the school and stuff. So I didn't really get too much of the school indoctrination. And then when I was, I don't know, maybe like 8 or 9 years old, maybe 10, I was seeing those kids on World Vision TV and seeing with their ribs hanging out and they didn't have any food. And I would be like, this is weird. How can we have so much extra food that we throw stuff out? And there's other places that they don't even have food. Like we're throwing out food, and the world didn't make any sense to me. So I wanted to get into politics, and I wanted to, change things that way. And then I ended up getting kicked out of my house when I was 15 years old. And so then that was a big wake up call, right? And I kind of got adopted by the streets, learned how to make money, learned how to take care of myself and things like that. So I always had this aspiration to want to, make things better. But, obviously, then all of a sudden the party scene came and the drugs and the alcohol and things like that kind of changed, kind of course a little bit. So, I was battling that for maybe 20 years. And then 10 and a half years ago, I stopped drinking alcohol. And then 10 years ago, I stopped all synthetic drugs. 9.5 years ago, I stopped smoking cigarettes. And on the way to clearing my head and then getting really focused on, figuring out what's going on in the world and really trying to make a difference. And so social media comes along and all of a sudden I start meeting all these like-minded people and people knowing things that are going on, and I'm learning more things and I'm connecting with people, and that long and lonely road seemed like, less lonely. And it's been amazing to meet so many cool people, from so many different walks of life that are, trying to make a difference and wanting people to become aware of what's going on and build a new reality opposed to this indoctrinated, slave system, this illusionary false matrix that we seem to be in.
There you go. I mean, that pretty much explains it all right there, dude. I mean, every point you hit has been like almost everybody sitting here on this panel, had some kind of issue with a father figure and some kind of substance issue. Yeah, it's part of, I think, what breaks you out of the normie cycle that locks those people in who don't experience anything but the things on the TV and things they're indoctrinated by in school, and they don't ever have those life-jarring experiences. Some of us, a whole lot of us have had major, like I had a major wreck that like pretty much destroyed mine and my wife's life for some years, just disabled me physically, my hearing, my balance, so it gave me like bottoming out does for people. You like reassess life, and then suddenly these weird videos are being suggested out of nowhere, and I'm like, okay. And then here we are, 10 freaking years later doing this, having made a lifelong family, not just friends. And people that have come on the show have become as well those lifelong friends. So yeah, man, it's a like meeting another brother from another mother. Definitely.
Yeah, awesome. And it's family. Like you're getting like really, the separation is an illusion, right? We're all kind of here together as one trying to figure this out as, one being. And, they create labels, they create all these things in order for us to distance ourselves from ourselves. And ultimately, most people are inherently good. It's not what they teach you that if people are inherently bad and you're sinners and all this kind of nonsense. People aren't that. People are good in their heart. I've met a lot of people throughout my journeys, and there are scumbags in every single race, color, religion, sexual orientation. But in general, most people are inherently good and they want goodness for you and everybody else from what I've met throughout this journey.
So, did you play any sports or anything like that growing up?
Yeah, loved playing sports.
Were you
That
a
was
big fan
one
for a
of my
while?
outlets. That's one thing. I love sports. I liked playing basketball was my favorite. Really got really good at basketball. I was playing with people that were getting paid to play. Like a lot of my friends were, dark skinned brothers, tall basketball dudes. And so I was really brought into that community. And I played every day basketball maybe for 10 years probably.
Wow.
And so, that was kind of one of my sports. Loved playing football and play a little bit of golf, but basketball was always kind of my thing. And, was able to meet a lot of cool people because of it. But, I have a hoop outside. I don't play as much as I should. I've been gardening a lot, getting, growing vegetables and all this kind of thing. So spending my time grounding and gardening. So that's kind of been taking a lot of my time. But, I do enjoy exercise. I've been lifting weights, like I had a double hip replacement surgery about last February. So I took some travel injections about 12 years ago. I was kind of pressured into taking it. I was doing this work where I was helping to create job openings for, we had job shortages here. So we were doing foreign immigration. So I opened up 1,037 jobs for, people to come work from other places. And so I got an all expense paid trip to Asia, 45-day trip to 8 different countries. And they said, we're going to be going to these places. You need to get this. And, I was going with some Asians. And so I ended up taking it, and that's what I think it started attack. 4 days later, I had Achilles tendonitis. My legs swole up. I was seeing these Chinese doctors about my legs and all this kind of stuff. So that was it. After that, I learned all about the pharmaceutical industry, and I've been
I was going to ask, were you lucky enough to come across some doctors who used authentic medicine, or were they pharmacy type doctors? Or there's some Chinese medicine that is amazing. I've had luck here locally with some people that do some amazing acupuncture and have some things you can get at like the local store that is just stuff that I'm talking about that I don't know because I'm not a doctor, nor do I fucking play one on this fucking show. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, so they were putting some like herbs and rubbing stuff on my legs and doing all kinds of natural remedies, which was really cool along the journey. And, so I was, having to battle that. But for the last, 12, 13 years, I think that it was attacking my cartilage and my hip joints, whatever was, injected. And basically, I tried everything. And those are some of the reasons why I quit the smoking, why I quit the drinking, why I quit the synthetic drugs. I stopped eating meat 7 years ago. I stopped doing all these kind of things I was doing to try to counter. I didn't have the 25 grand for stem cell therapy. They wanted, 10,000 per hip plus, they had to go either to Thailand or Australia. It was only a few places that went. And then, I ended up going and, doing the double hip replacement. I actually wanted to see if I could do it without getting the new round of injections. They were saying, oh, people aren't allowed to get surgeries and things like that. So I was like, you know what, let's see if I can do it without it. And I was able to go, and I told my doctor, I said, hey, I ain't going to be getting that. And, and she's like, that's fine. It doesn't matter to me. And I was like, okay, that's great. And then when it came to blood products, because I was cut open, I had a double hip replacement at the same time. So they cut off both my legs at the same time. And I was cut open for 6.5 hours. And so they said that they couldn't guarantee me unjuiced blood. And so I had to sign a waiver saying that even if I was dying, that they couldn't give me a blood transfusion. And
Wow.
so I had, because they couldn't guarantee it. So I said, I'd rather just die than get this stuff put into me. And so I was cut open 6.5 hours, came through the surgery. The first few days was a little rough because obviously I lost a lot of blood in that 6.5 hours, but obviously I'm meant to be here. And, that's how much it meant to me not getting this stuff put into me, that I would actually risk my life and to go. And I was able to do it. And now, for the first time in years, like I've been 8 months, 9 months, I've been lifting weights, 3 days on, 1 day off, 3 days, 1 day off. I don't have pain anymore. And so I had to go through a little bit of pain. I had to go through some trauma, but now I'm thankful that I was able to get this, because now I'm living pain-free.
That is awesome, man.
That is awesome, brother. Definitely.
Yeah, definitely a strong will. You can tell. A lot of truthers, you were saying earlier, Walter, when we go through these things, it almost is like working with your hands out in the garden. After the very first day of doing it, your hands are like, man, my hands hurt. Like my skin hurts on my hands. And then all of a sudden, after a couple weeks, you don't even feel it anymore. Your hands are a little harder. Your skin's a little thicker. You got some calluses now. Yeah, we just get that emotional thick skin to where we can handle things that other people flake out and just can't. What's your take on what's going on lately? You've got to notice the polarization of society just everywhere. I've never seen the country so wrapped up into politics. And
Yeah,
I think it all... go ahead.
No, finish.
I was going to say, I think it all has to do with the repealing of the Smith-Mundt Act by Obama.
Is that the one where they said that they could lie to their own citizens?
Yeah, the government is now legally allowed to use propaganda against the citizens. This was something in 1948 that was signed, and we figured out all the stuff that Nazis were doing. And, everybody's like, yeah, we're not going to do that to our people. We all are making up these, laws to say we're not going to be the Nazis. And now we just, Obama was like, hey, we're going to be a little bit like the Nazis now. But it seems like ever since then, it's just been.
But it's for our good now. Come on, guys. Think about how easy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I can't even finish it. Good Lord.
So, have you noticed any like that, you think?
Yeah, well, I think that's, been a big thing before. Like you said, they were legally allowed to lie to everyone else, but not their own people. And then, I think it was in 2008 that he changed that the government was now legally allowed to lie to its own citizens. So that obviously, changed a lot of things. But the whole thing is that they, want to keep people divided. And how do they do that, is through all these different narratives and different psyops and different, movements to keep people at each other and not focused on, the real people that are pulling the strings. And the only thing that they're afraid of is a unified front. And so if they keep people at each other left and right and up and down and, here and there, then people don't actually come together and say, look, we outnumber them 1,000,000 to 1. They really have no power. But because everybody's too worried about, being right, opposed to coming together as people and stopping the evil in the world, that's how they continue to be able to do the things that they're doing to us.
Yeah.
Quiet acquiescence of millions.
Yeah, and you got to give them props. They've done an amazing job at keeping people distracted and, at each other instead of looking at the people that are actually, oppressing us. Giving them credit, but, you have to know your enemy. That's part of the game. What music did you listen to growing up? Did that have any influence on,
I mean, he's a dancer. Come on, Zach.
So my very first concert that I went to, I was in grade 4, and I went to the Kiss concert. So it was the Animalized tour. So I just turned 50. I'm 50 years old.
Hold up. I'm sorry, Jesse. Please tell me you actually got to see Mark St. John live on stage with Kiss.
This was,
If it was the Animalized tour, he was on the album. He was one of their best guitarists ever, other than Ace Frehley. Of all the replacement guitarists, he was a badass.
Yeah, so it was the Animalized tour that I went to, and that was my very first concert, and that was grade 4. And so it was my first concert, and we were kind of on the side, and they had these tubes of flaming fire that came out. When they went up, I could feel the warmth on my face. But before we got to the concert, it was at this the Corral, and my parents wouldn't go with me, but they said my sister had to go. So she was in grade 8; she's 4 years older, and I was in grade 4. So it was the two of us that I went. And all I remember is before the doors opened at 7, we got there like 6:45, and all these like headbangers are banging on the door. Open the fucking door! Open the fucking door! And I was just like, I'm like yelling that. My sister's looking at me like, I'm like, yo, open the fucking door. At grade 4, I thought that was like the greatest thing. But then by grade 5, that's when kind of hip hop came in, and we started bringing cardboard mats, and we started breakdancing. And, I was in like a choir, and I was also in tenor. Pardon?
Were you a tenor?
No, I don't remember. It was grade 4 choir. So I
was in choir quite a few years.
Okay. And, because I was a break dancer, I think it was choir in grade 6. My band teacher, she wanted to do a song called Break Dance. And so I got all my breakdancing buddies to come on stage and perform in front of the whole school breakdancing. So they sung this song, Break Dance, with piano. She played the piano and the choir sung it. And then they flipped on. So all these guys that I was breakdancing with actually got to go up on, stage and do the breakdance. We put the mats out and breakdanced in front of everybody. And so that kind of changed my music to the whole hip hop thing, right? So I was, Ice-T, NWA, Public Enemy, that was kind of, what I was listening to a lot of. And then by the time I was 17, I met some Jamaican guys, and then I got into dance hall reggae. So dance hall reggae was my thing. And I actually started DJing. I bought a whole like records, and I bought, turntables, and I actually was DJing on a radio station guest spot for dance hall reggae. So I was DJing with my records, and I threw parties, and obviously like I consumed lots of cannabis and had cannabis for everybody that was able to have a little extra flow coming in from it, through all the parties. It was just, I figured out a way. I was a pool hustler, so I made money. I made money on taking people's money out of the pool, throwing parties, cannabis, all kinds of stuff. But I did the dance hall reggae until all of a sudden we got into raves and things. Going to these rave parties was great. And then I got into techno and electronic music and things. So I ended up buying a whole studio with turntables and music equipment, drum machines and keyboard samplers, and I got it all, but it's not the same as when I was like DJing with records. Everything is all, electronic and technical, and just because I've been so busy focused on the world, I have this studio that I, put about 20 grand into that I haven't even really been able to use too much because I just don't have time. Finding time for doing the things like, making music. I hope the world is going to get to a place where I can actually, do that one day.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I mean,
I was trying to remove the blur to point back here somewhere to my guitars. Yeah, man, I love music, and that pretty much saved my life during that time after the wreck when I couldn't use my hand, I couldn't use my arm. That's what got my hand and arm back was the guitar and video games. It was a prescription. My doctor told me to do it. But definitely, yeah, music is a key to a lot of what got me through this, without a doubt. So what was some of your go-to electronic stuff? I just have to know. There were some crazy bands I was into in that whole rave area too, and the techno-y, like.
Yeah, I obviously like David Guetta and all these other, people, but basically, after the dance hall reggae, I didn't do the DJs. I was just more of a party promoter, and I had a lot of DJ friends, so I didn't get to know what the music was. I just had people give me music all the time and stuff, all kinds of like mixes and DJ mixes. But I seen someone in the comments said they were in a marching band. So I was, in grade 7, I did, guitar lessons. And then I think by grade 9, I was in a marching band. So I was in the Calgary Stampede. And the first year I was, a soprano trumpet. And then and you have to march for 5.5 hours for the Calgary Stampede. And then the next year, I wanted to, because I love drums, I wanted to be a drummer. So they had me on a bass drum, this big, giant bass drum. And I had to carry this thing for 5.5 hours. And that was like the worst. I didn't really want to do the marching band anymore after having to be able to carry this giant, big drum for 5.5 hours. But, I also did the marching band as well.
I did it for like 3 years. I started with tuba, and I finally got to the French horn. I liked the French horn. That was my go-to.
Did you ever go to DCI, Drum Corps International? So that was one thing.
No, man, I have buddies who did, like my buddy Mike, who's like hung out and chat, been around. Yeah, that was his whole thing. He got into the good side of drumming. He wasn't like toting he got to do the snares and the toms, and all that stuff. He got the good end of it, and he got good with it. And he and I played around, like he got into rock music and things. And yeah, he got into all that. He went to the camps and all that. I did all that in choir. I was talking about that with somebody in chat not too long ago, going to the choir festival. Or was that you, Cammy? Who was I talking to about that with?
Wasn't me.
Choir festivals, yeah. But yeah, trying to get those ones. And yeah, oh yeah, it was awesome. I loved it.
And we went to
for the band. I know for band that I was going to play a saxophone, and that's when my parents decided, did you always want a puppy? Didn't you always want a puppy? Because, you've been asking for years, and if you don't play this instrument, we'll get you that puppy.
So they
Now I'm a
paid you
dog
off.
band, and
They had a plan.
Yeah, they had a plan. They had a big plan. Keep going. I'm sorry I interrupted.
You did not at all.
Who did I cut off? I cut somebody off. What's it? What?
We went to Drum Corps International for Madison, Wisconsin, and on the trip out there, we were driving, and I think it was the second day we had slept somewhere, and it was day 2 of the trip. And I bought some drumsticks, and I was playing drumsticks on the floor of the bus, and this guy, he like kicked the drumstick and he hit me in the face, and we got up, and I leveled him, and he started bleeding out of his nose. He was knocked out, and then he started coming at me, and they were going to kick us off. They were going to send us home, but they didn't know how to do it, so we ended up being able to go on the trip. But that was kind of a wild experience. guy kicked me in the face, and so I had to retaliate, I guess.
For those who haven't seen the Drum Corps International, do they have that over in England or that? I know we had drums along the Rockies, and so we did do the different drum corps things. Those are fabulous to go to. Those are great events. Is that what it is with, like, where they had drums along the huge competitions and that?
Yeah, marching bands.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be, you do the march and everybody, does this kind of, it's almost like art. It's, mixed between music and marching and art, make something artistic that comes out of it. And, it's pretty fascinating, and it was fun. So I was able to do that for 2 years before I got kicked out.
As I went and I watched that. I didn't do that, but I did watch a few of the different competitions, and again, where, they would have the big ones. That was very, very cool. Music, we have been covering in the Globebusters, cymatics, and like the Rubens 2 resonance and that, and how much music, again, just wavelengths, functions, the nerdy stuff, the way that it filters down and affects every fiber of your being. And again, I think it's a key to health. I think it's a key to happiness, and
yeah, we saw this video last night. This guy using the tuning bowls, or the
so you're talking about.
Yeah, he had the crystal sounding bowls where you rub the edges of them, and he was drawing beautiful patterns with it, cymatic patterns, doing that. And then he was hitting a gong, and it was doing cymatic patterns. And like, depending on if he's hitting the gong real fast, it would make a different cymatic pattern. If he was hitting
crazy.
Slower,
I missed it. Damn it! I'm going to have to go back and watch that.
Man, it just shows that these things that all these ancients were using wasn't just to make noise. It was, they were tuned in to do things.
There was a guy.
Exactly.
Yep. There you go. There it is. I'll hush and let us hear.
So someone said the future of healing is going to be through sound and frequency, or electrical beings. So once we get off this allopathic oil-based drug medicine, we can start to really heal.
Speaking of oil,
that's awesome.
Oh wow!
Yeah, that would be fun to see on the Rubens tube too. Are you familiar with the Rubens tube? Does Zach tell you about that?
Yeah, I heard about it through Zach. I thought that's fascinating.
That would be fun to play and see the thing, the tones on it too, if it reacts.
Yeah, that would be
Zach,
amazing.
I'm sorry I cut you off.
Different frequency, different rhythms, different speeds of the. However you do, I don't know if you call that, like, not necessarily gonging it, but whatever it is, so rubbing it around.
The pulsing, the pulsation,
Yeah, I want a gong now.
Well,
this guy was hitting that gong, and it was making these beautiful cymatic patterns. How does that actually work?
I brought this up on a show several years ago about the uniqueness of the way they play the gong. Because you think about a gong, and you just got the big mallet, right? You walk up and bang, and it gongs. But that's not it at all. They take that mallet and they rub that gong, and the vibrations build on each other, and they build on each other, and the way the gong is built and hand hammered, getting the sounds just right, and just the way that they know where and when to touch and rub that mallet on that gong. It's not just banging it. It's literally playing a gong. It was the craziest thing. It just blew my mind. I never even imagined that's how like gongs were meant to be played.
And here I thought it was an instrument I might be able to play that didn't require talent or skill. But
I think that's the triangle you're thinking of, Cammy.
Have to give me a triangle for the show, but we'll bring the unicycle. I'll just do that instead for the magic show.
Have you guys ever been to sound baths?
Well, there was a sound bath at the last Flattoberfest in Vegas. Have you heard of Flattoberfest?
Yes, I have.
Yes, we did a sound bath at the last Flattoberfest, and I don't know if we're doing one this year or not. It's going to be outdoors in that. Unfortunately, I didn't get to do the sound bath because I was working registration, so I was meeting everybody. But I did get the poster I have over there. I can show you that was signed by every single person at Oktoberfest. So you were there. I have your signature.
So the first sound bath that I was introduced was in this ranch, and they had a giant indoor swimming pool, and then they filled up the entire swimming pool with floaties, so they were perfectly, one to another, packed on the whole entire pool, and there'd be like 20 or 30 people, and each would get a floaty. And me and my girlfriend, we were on a double one, so we climb up onto ours, and we get there, and then they do this sound frequencies inside of this giant place, and they had the gongs and they had the didgeridoo, the guy that's singing from that long tube. And all I know is when he tries to put it right over you, the guy's spit was like leaking on like
Breaking the vibe a bit.
My shirt little drips, but that's from him blowing into the thing and is like spitting in the tube, and it was like leaking on me. I thought that was a little bit weird, but it was just amazing being on top of the pool. Not only the frequencies and the water and the giant wooden place that the swimming pool was in. So we went to quite a few of those, and we ended up befriending the guy who was putting them on, and we ended up having him on our show, to kind of promote his, sound baths and the kind of the stuff that he does.
That's awesome. Yeah,
Well,
those
I
sound
just found
baths are
out
pretty
recently
amazing.
there's a salt room here that uses sound baths and stuff that I didn't know even we had locally-ish. It's about an hour drive away, but yeah, I want to look into it now.
I was just talking to a lady at work yesterday. She comes from Bosnia area. Right area, it'll come to me. But they have like salt mines where they've dug out, and now it's just like tourist attraction. They've put like a little church and a little altar in there. There's a little cafe with tables. You can sit down and chill. She said people go down there and spend all day because the salt and the minerals are so good for your skin. And they come back with like jar. They're like, it's like almost a currency amongst the Bosnians in America. The salt, the natural salt, the organic salt from this salt mine.
Well, this salt used to be like currency, right? So your wealth was how much salt you had, because they used salt for everything, salt for preserving food. There was like real natural without all these chemicals, preservatives. And, they tell the world that, you need to have the vitamins and vitamin C and vitamin D and all this, but most people are really mineral deficient. And just taking a bath with Epsom salts gives you the magnesium that you need without even actually having to eat it. Because if you eat magnesium, you can get a little bit, loose in the stool, I guess, for some people. But, having like, shilajit or sea moss gives you these minerals that are really important for the body to have. So most people are very mineral deficient. We get a lot of the vitamins in the food that we eat. If you're eating like, some fruits and vegetables, you're going to get a lot of those vitamins. And because we're not getting water from the earth, at least most people aren't. There's a website called findaspring.org. For the last like 6 years, we just get natural spring water. We go and we drive an hour, we fill up 200 liters, and we get minerals in, the water that we drink. I don't boil it. I drink it right from the earth. But most people are mineral deficient. So taking a bath with magnesium, Epsom salts, add a little baking soda, little lavender oil, helps you to balance your pH out and then gives you some of the magnesium that you need.
And
Absolutely.
that's my wife's go-to is to soak in like different Epsom salt concoctions that people around here make it to like local, farmers markets and things like that. She loves that. I found a lady who had created this spray because I've tried taking it and it didn't agree with my intestines as either. So I saw this lady at a place. I knew her from other stuff she had made. She was on and on about like cod oil. What is it?
Cod liver.
cod liver oil and castor oil and all these different oils, olive oil, and just different things you can do with compresses and using it on your eyes. And this is just the things that the lady told me. Again, I'm not a fucking doctor, nor do I play one on this show. But I also knew about naveling with oil. And I tried spraying the spray, and it kind of dried my skin out. My skin's always been kind of hippie because, you know, we all had parents who thought that little juice would be great for us as babies. And so that affected my skin bad. I have a reaction to any kind of scented anything, sprays, air fresheners. I hate all that stuff the world loves to bathe themselves in. Anyway, I sidetracked. The stuff, the magnesium, was not agreeing with my skin. And I was looking at my olive oil, which is what I navel with at night. And I thought, you know, if I spray a little bit of this in there and mix it in and start using it that way, I'll be getting where I need it. It won't be on my skin destroying me. And I'll start sleeping better. And my sleep has improved immensely, which is one of the things I was told magnesium would help me with. And it has.
Yeah, magnesium's important, and a lot of people, like, when they eat it, they get really loose stools, so they're like, stay away from it, but they need the magnesium. So anybody that's having an issue, you can actually get it just through taking Epsom salt baths. It'll actually, you know, the skin is the biggest organ in the body, and it absorbs things. That's why when they're, you know, you take showers, like I got a filter head on my shower that tries to filter out like fluorides and things, because, you know, even though I'm drinking spring water, I take a shower with, you know, city water, you know, that's just ingesting, you know, whatever chemicals that are coming. So, you know, we're just trying to, you know,
so is it a household filter, or is it just one for your shower?
This one is just for the shower. I'm looking to get one for the whole entire house. I've interviewed a water guy a few times, and we have a link where people can purchase this water machine. So we're building up some, you know.
Nice. I would definitely look into that if you'd send me that link. And also, whatever shower filter you have that seems to be working, let me know, because I've tried a few and they just stopped up so fast they weren't efficient at all. That's how bad our water is here. That's the problem, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a big thing. It's got little tiny holes in it. So, you know, it does start to plug up. But, you know, but yeah, we all do, you know, have to be careful what we're ingesting, you know, because they're trying to obviously poison us in every single way, right? You know, whether it's our food, our air, our water, you know, our frequencies, you know, the stuff that we're taking in on TVs or computers or internet, you know, all the narratives that are going on, they just seem to want to, you know, get us off balance, and we have to try to protect ourselves. So it's just making small decisions, you know, to, you know, protect yourself the best way that you can.
Yeah, it's important. What about iodine? Have you looked into iodine at all?
Yeah, so I take this spray from Dr. Daryl Wolf, some iodine. So we used to get iodine in our bread, but most people don't know that wheat was modified in the 40s before they had to list genetically modified. So they actually modified wheat. And the other thing they did, they changed the milling process. And when they changed the milling process, it actually took the iodine out of the food. So most people with thyroid problems or issues that are iodine deficient, because we used to get it in our wheat and our bread, and we no longer get that. So iodine is you know, good to have that balance as well.
Yeah, we get it in our soil here. A lot of you know, you grow green beans, absorb a lot of iodine, and strawberries, things like that. But if your soil doesn't have it, the plants don't get it. They don't just magically make it. And yeah, I was having to get mine from sea kelp. That's where I was getting mine from the longest time, because up in Indiana, we have great soil, but it's very iodine deficient. That's one of the things we don't have in our soil. And it's really here in the red clay areas where you get a lot of the good iodine in your soil. So yeah, that's one nice thing about this area. I'm finally getting my iodine just naturally from the ground. I don't have to take some kind of supplement to get it.
Good for you.
So what's next for you, man? What Or what do you want to see happen next, I should say?
What do I want to see happen next?
Like the next, if it could be Jesse's way. Like tomorrow would be
that world
the
you keep
kickoff.
like trying to make happen. Yeah, that you've been seeing it. The rest of us.
How do you think would be a good way for it to start to come around, like to snap people awake? What do you think? What would you like to see happen?
People to start telling the truth. And I think that the truth will set us free. I think, return back to love. But I think it all starts with the truth. And I think people, feel when they hear and they see a video or they see this and they think it's the truth, and they go around, spreading things that, they've just, seen or heard with no actual, firsthand knowledge about it. And, there's a lot of lies that are being pushed everywhere. And if people start, holding themselves accountable and only speaking truth, I think that, that will be a big step for us to get back to healing once again, because, these lies are really what keeps us divided.
Well, I wish that I had Jesse's world.
Right. Dude, I so almost wanted to put that for the show thumbnail. So we're all doing our thing here. We all have our different avenues, social media, what we do here, what you do on your show. And we're, blatantly out there with things. But this world around us has, over time, been so lulled by devices into being so comfortable with scrutiny and being watched, Big Brother style, for their own good, and all the shit that transpired after 9/11, I don't know what that number means, nothing, after things and whatever. And so everybody's starting to understand that there's cameras everywhere, there's devices they can access at any time and turn on. Oh, let's all be scared, because they won't fear without a doubt. But I hope, and the only reason I'm saying this, I'm reading a book. It's about Native American stuff, and it's talking about the teepee life and how in those communities and those villages, which were mobile villages, they moved with the seasons and with the sky clock, and it wasn't like they didn't stay anywhere that wasn't the place to be in their bioregion. And in that teepee life, it wasn't the walls that we have dividing us all now. It was skins of animals that had been killed, that had been used properly in the way that their God wanted it used, fully, completely. They didn't leave carcasses across the land like the Bluecoats did. And so in these teepees, there were no secrets. There were no, you had to leave the village and go off away to be quiet. People watched each other have sex and have children. And it was openness. It was a communalness that I think we could flip this whole thing on them and go back to, because we're already open. We're already being observed. So let's flip this fucking thing on them, I think that's the best thing, is use their tools against them. I don't know. I got to ranting there. My bad. I do that a lot.
Always love a good wall rant.
Hashtag TP Life.
I love that, using their tools against them. And, with these, the internet was a DARPA, created instrument to monitor people. Right? That's where the internet came from. Facebook. Find out who's who. Again, DARPA created a lot of these technologies that, are supposedly created by, these young high school or just, teens or 19. It's their father or grandfather was, part of the crew, and to keep things in their group, they pay for them to have the technology, or to be the one, so that way they're the billionaires and that they stay in control of these high profile technologies. But we've been using it against them, to connect with people, to be able to learn things, to be able to talk with different people in different parts of the world. So I just try to keep positive, and I think that we're in a tipping point, and they've been ruling by secrecy for so long, and now they're being smoked out of the hole, and more people are becoming awake and aware of what's going on, which they're losing their grip over humanity. That this false illusion is starting to come down, and I really have hope that within the next 5 years that things will get to a place where we can start healing again, and where we can start being happy that we're here, opposed to most people, I'll never come back here. I've had a wonderful journey, I love it here, I'll be coming back as soon as I can, if I can. But I think that we're in a tipping point, and I think we're going to get to a better place, because they no longer can hide in their holes anymore.
I love that, man, because it is sometimes hard with the people in the normie life that we walk among, and you see the just lockstep brainwash. What are you thinking? You're not thinking, and it gets disheartening at times. And it's so good to hear you say those things, because, man, it definitely does at times feel like, okay, this is my last round, guys. I'm out. See y'all later, But, yeah, it's always a fun ride. Always a fucking ride.
Just think that they're under a spell, right? So the people, the normies, there's mass spell, and there's spells upon spells upon spells. So the people that have been doing this are dark sorcerers, black magicians, and they've created spell upon spell. So most people that think they're awake and aware, they're under some kind of spell, because the spells go so deep that to get out of all the spells is, really, really, tough. But at any point, that false illusion can come down. Full disclosure can be, hit the masses, and things will change rather quickly. And the people that are, like people call normies, are the ones that, some people say they're NPCs. They'll never get it. They won't even see the light. It just takes full disclosure, to be reverberated on their TV sets, on their spell boxes, to actually to speak truth, that this world can become a better place rather quickly. So I'll never lose hope, and I'll never stop fighting until we find balance here once again.
Yeah, that's what we need. It's really a battle that I don't think will ever end. This is the battle between good and evil. And it's not something that's going to, it's not going to end in our lifetime, in my opinion. It's not how this works. This is an ongoing thing that's going to go on forever. And it's a battle that also takes place within everybody. I mean, can anybody look back and say they're the same person they were 15 years ago, 10 years ago? No, you
5
look
weeks
back
ago.
and you see things that you've done at one time in your life maybe, and it wasn't a nice thing. And so how can we judge people that are doing that same thing right now? We all have to realize people change. Everybody can. Not everybody will, but everybody has that ability to be a better person. And getting rid of people isn't the answer. Helping people become, good.
And definitely walking around grumpy Gus about everybody being idiots is not helpful, because I definitely have my wife nudging me too often going, okay, Grumpy, ease up. They don't know, And I see in chat our friends talking about tainted things that you might be trying to get, like the oils and the vitamins and the supplements that try to help you, and you never know. And as our buddy here, Zach, too nice for rice, the Mala can attest, in imbuing these things with like your love and your energy and your intention can definitely not just help them, but man, alter them in ways beyond measure. Because that whole experiment with the rice, I don't know if Zach told you the story on the show, but it definitely, you love one rice, you hate one rice, you don't really deal with the other rice. He couldn't hate rice. He was too nice for rice. That's where he got the nickname. So yeah, that idea of putting that energy out there all the time with these people around you, rather than being, oh, you idiots. Again, I do that too often because I'm an old grumpy man. But yeah, man, it's such an easy switch to switch. Just remember, they don't know yet. Send them that energy and turn them into right.
The energy you put into the world, you're going to get back as well. So, just to point an example, I love everybody. I'm always trying to help. I'm got real positive energy. I don't really think negative thoughts. Sometimes obviously I'm up and down, like everybody, but mostly kind of up. And, I put a lot of goodness out into the world. So when it came to them putting these breathing inhibitors on, I didn't wear one anywhere. And I never had any issues with anybody. And my buddy, who's kind of like amped up and he's just angry, he's an angry Christian. And, he's just like, he was getting into issues everywhere. People would be like,
when you look for it, you're going to find it. Right?
Yeah, old ladies would like yell at him and, why aren't you getting one of these masks on? And well,
the energy you put out, like you say, man, people pick up on it and they return it, definitely.
100%.
Yeah.
And animals. We all are animal lovers here. I don't know if you have a pet. I haven't asked or noticed, but yeah, animals, definitely watch them. They know if my cats freak out on somebody, I definitely pay attention. And dogs, definitely, if they act wrong with somebody, I'm like, I'm watching you, buddy.
Never trust a man who doesn't like dogs, but I always trust a dog who doesn't like a man.
I was probably 20 years old and I had...
You got a hanker-panker.
Sorry,
Go ahead, Jesse. I was
he
just saying hey to Hank
Okay.
there on the camera.
Oh, okay. I was about 20 years old and I had, this girlfriend, her mom gave us this cat. And it was a beautiful cat. It was a white cat. His name was Prince Charming. Had a pink nose and blue eyes, pink ears. And we had somebody come to my house, and there's these two Jamaican guys. And I think this guy was from St. Lucia. And he was probably like 5'6", but probably like 230, 240, stocked muscle guy. And when he walked in, the three guys, all dark skin, right, walk into my apartment, all of a sudden, Prince Charming, I've never seen this before, he gets up on his hind legs and he starts swatting towards this guy, and he was like trying to attack this guy, and I never seen anything like it. And this like gangster type of guy, muscle, he like cowered in my door, in front of my door. He like kind of like went down, crouched down, and I couldn't believe it. And I grabbed Prince and I put him onto the balcony, and there was a screen door of the apartment. And he was just walking back and forth, pacing, staring at this guy. And I was like, what the heck? So maybe the guy did some bad thing to cats. Maybe he was a demon. I don't know. Maybe he was a reptilian. I have no idea why the heck this cat didn't like this guy, but it was like telling me that this guy wasn't a good dude.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah,
to be fair.
know.
To be fair.
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 To be fair, animals can be a little racist.
Yeah, Hank's racist, but I think
To be fair,
there's
but
something behind that though.
yeah, that kind of reaction that you're talking about, it seems a little next level to me, Jesse.
Yeah, when a cat does it, I mean,
some can be really
Especially,
racist.
Not gonna put stereotypes on people, but me and Hank traveled the country, right? And yes, black people tend to be more scared of dogs than any other race. I don't know what like Walter's neighbors went flying in the house. Hank's on a leash. Leash is in my hand. Hank's wagging his tail tongue out, not barking, not growling, not
Not
showing
even
teeth,
growling,
nothing.
nothing. Right.
He's all happy, wanting to say hi. And they're like, head out the door. No, we're not gonna. No, it's okay. But like everywhere. So if you show a dog fear, they'll pick up on that sometimes, and they'll show their dominance and be the alpha in that relationship. But if a guy isn't showing any fear to a dog, and the dog still don't like the guy, and is showing like aggression towards somebody, yeah, then definitely. But no, to be fair.
To be fair, if you always
Animals
carry
can be
hot
racist.
dogs in your pockets, hot dogs and catnip, all animals will love you.
Bacon.
No matter what kind of person you are, they'll still love you.
My beautiful girlfriend is in the audience there, Angeline Joy. Hi, Angeline. Excited to see you too.
Absolutely welcome, Miss Joy. Glad to have you. I will just give you a quick hello. A joy to see you, actually. There we go.
And I have a big
I
dog.
use,
He's a Presa Canario, mix. His mom was part pit bull and dad full breed Presa Canario from the Canary Islands. So he's quite a large dog with a large head.
Yeah, he's a big boy. I love big dogs. See a big old cuddler.
Yeah, well, he likes his pets. Look. I can maybe show you him.
Oh, the treats.
Yeah, we make his own food, right? So he
nice.
So he has,
Oh, that's a big old boy. That's a big old boy.
Oh, he takes
Look
it
at
so
them
soft.
chops,
What a
right?
good boy.
Look at him. That's such a good boy.
so obviously the stuff, the kibble, it's not probably the best thing for, your dog. They could be, rotting food that they're gonna, not throw out, or they're gonna are they gonna put it in there? So, he's a dog, and so he's on I have stopped eating meat 7 years ago, but he's a meat eater, right? So he eats raw meat, and we make some rice, we make some rolled oats, we make some pumpkin, we put in pumpkin seeds and sunflower seeds and apples and some mixed bag of frozen vegetables. And then he gets the offal, which is hearts, kidneys, and livers, and then the chopped up beef. I don't give him pork because I think pork is parasitic. Chicken is the most injected animal in the world. And 90% of pharmaceuticals get sold in the world get injected into animals. So don't give him any chicken. So mostly he just eats beef, he eats goat's feet. But we make about 100 pounds of food and then freeze it into 2-pound bags. And then he just gets 2 pounds every day of, I picked and a big can of pumpkin we put in there, and eggs and eggshells. I just smashed the eggs, raw eggs and eggshells, and mixed this all up, 100 pounds. And then just, a dog he's like 90 pounds should have about 2 pounds a day. So he eats his 2 pounds, plus he gets his all beef treats, right?
Mm-hmm.
These are beef sticks, just dehydrated beef. And, just try to give him, he's probably better than most humans do.
I was going to say, dude, I'm coming to eat with him. Hell.
And literally, he's probably better than most humans, and he's never been to a vet. He's never been injected with anything. He's just all natural. And
Same with my dog. Never seen a vet.
Yeah, so he's gonna live a long, healthy life. Their dogs that size are supposed to only live to 12 or 13. I'll live to 15, 16 for sure, if not longer, because, depending on what you put into their body is just the same as us. Are they having to process shit that you're giving them? And we don't give him any human food except for he likes pizza crust and toast crust. That's it. He eats for human food. That's kind of like his.
Those the pizza bones.
Yeah.
Yeah, our dogs love them too.
Yeah, so that's what we give him as for only human food we give him. So he doesn't beg at the table, but he knows when we have pizza that he's getting crust. He can smell the pizza, but he doesn't get any of the sauce. It's just the crust, right? And that's the only bad thing that he actually gets, because obviously the wheat isn't the best thing for us, let alone him. But he eats so good that a little bit of treats is okay.
He heard pizza bones and he came running. And this is Hank right here. You're so handsome and good boy.
It's a hanker-panker.
Uncle Walt says hi. Yeah, you're a good boy.
Great. Where's my pizza bones?
Where's my pizza bones, Dick?
Yeah,
I
that's
heard
good
you.
and heavy, but I heard the words. You said the word.
Yeah, when they say dogs can't understand words, it's like these people are retarded. And you're a scientist, and you don't think that animals can't understand words? It's just nonsense.
I know my rabbits understand the word cookie.
Right. Yeah, there's a series of words I won't say right now because these are so close, and they'll definitely be heading to the other room. Yeah. Oh, yeah. They know.
Yeah, even my dog Esme. When I say the word "fuck," she's gone. She is just disappears. No matter how sweetly I say it, more 9 times out of 10, I say the word "fuck," and she is just a Esme-shaped hole in the door.
No.
Yeah.
So, what are some of your favorite interviews you've done?
Jason Christoff. So he's a self-sabotage coach. And, we've had some really, really, really good interviews. Our last one, I think, was one of the best. I think he's been on 3 or 4 times, but definitely a really good interview. But there's just so many and so many different ones. It's hard to compare, one to the other. Today we're having an interview starting in about an hour and 13 minutes. And he's been on the show, I think, 4 times before. This will be his 5th time. And his name is Danny Von Kordich, a really smart guy, but he's totally into the alien thing. And we've been here thousands of years, and I mean, like billions of years old. And he goes really hard at the tiny hatters. So he's very outspoken. He thinks that, they're all aliens here, and they're not human. And we've had another guy pass who's in the truth community. I mean, in the Q community or whatever. And he's going hard on the tiny hatters. He thinks that all of them are bad, but I have friends that, come from, that type of, I don't know if you call it religion or bloodline or whatever, that are good people. Yeah. And again, I think you can find good people in every race, color, religion, including Judaism, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
the streets don't change except for the names. Doesn't matter where you go, you're going to find the same types of people.
God's chosen people and superior race pretty much mean the same thing.
Have you ever met Jerry Marzinski? Sorry, Walter.
no, I haven't.
Get out of my head, Zachary. Sorry,
That
man.
is someone you need to reach out to, man. Change my life.
That is literally what I was going to do. Is go. So, have you ever heard of a gentleman named Jerry Marzinski? Get out of my head. That's nut.
Yeah, he.
So, man, go ahead. You do it.
No,
you
you.
do it.
No,
you do it.
You.
All right. So, Jerry, 35 years working in institutional psychiatry, not like, hey, what's wrong with your marriage? But hey, why'd you kill these people? That level. And so he kept running into the similar thing, like, and you're taught in their industry, in the pharmacy industry, to not engage with the people who have multiple personalities, who have voices. You don't do that. You don't engage those voices. And he kept hearing so similar things, and he finally just, let me see what happens, and started engaging. And it got to a point where he was literally figuring out that there's way more going on with this than just people's craziness. And so it came to a point where looking at the research he was looking into historically, like things about the jinn, things about the Catholic Church history with demonology, all these different things. And he started approaching their therapy in that way and helping these people. And it got to a point where they literally told him, hey, these voices said, they told him, you don't have a right to like mess with our food supply. You can't do this. You have to stop. It got nuts, dude. And he's got a guy It came on. He came on, blew our minds, and he came back on with one of his patients and a lady who, like, just Sherry. Yeah, it's a whole thing, man. He's been blowing it up on his channel. If you have a chance, reach out to Jerry Marzinski, Sherry, and yeah, they're doing amazing stuff over there, trying to change the madness that is what most people are subjected to as cures in this world of, like, just, endless mind-numbing, soul-crushing drugs. That's their answer to everything, instead of helping them with this, which his approach has done and has proven that there are far more going on with these dark entities than just people hearing fucking voices. Yeah, you'll be blown away by Jerry.
What was Jerry's channel name? Engineering no. What the fuck is it? The hell is his channel name?
I'll go grab it and link it.
Yeah, he was disgusted by the fact that, he was told not to talk about the voices. The voices weren't real, so we don't even talk about them. We just give these people drugs.
Zach, your wheel bearing is going out.
Yeah, those are the crickets. I'll step in.
I'm just giving you shit. You're fine.
But yeah.
Jerry's contact info, that would be great. I'll reach out, and all of you, if you send Zach, if you can send me all of you guys, I'd love to host you all on the missing link. Again, we like to record history of everybody that's speaking out or that decides to put their face out there. So you're all invited to be on our show.
Anytime you want me there, you can pencil me in for your next available, or if you need a short list in case somebody cancels, all that good stuff. Feel free to include me. Just holler at me.
Awesome. So yeah. Zach, if you can send me all their contact info, and Jerry's if you have it, or if anybody can send Jerry's to Zach and send it to
I'm trying to find him right now. Give me just a few seconds.
I can do that right now, so it is a little bit of a wait to get on, but we definitely would definitely book you all in.
Absolutely. It is nice to sit on the other side of the microphone every now and again. I'd have to worry about all the production.
And hard not to try to host from that other side too, damn it. Awful hard sometimes.
I don't know. I find it real easy. It's real easy not to host if I don't have to. Shit, I find it real easy not to host when I'm hosting, for whatever that's worth.
Yeah, we have fun here at the Realm.
Yeah, Ian's got it in chat. What was it? Engineering something or something. In mental sanity. That's what it was. Engineering mental sanity.
So have you ever interviewed anybody about shadow people or anything like that?
I think we have had one or two people a couple of years ago, so it's not fresh in my head. It's the thing about when you do this and interview so many people and you hear a lot of things, the brain only remembers so much. It's like the filing cabinet. And so, but yeah, I think we have interviewed one or two people that talked about shadow people.
Yeah.
Jerry's kind of like that, but it's more about just the voices side of it. He does. I know he's worked with a gentleman that, did more about the shadow people that people saw. Mostly people who were, up for days on meth and things like that. He said would be seeing these things.
And just the work that he did with his paranoid schizophrenics, both in like the state hospitals and in the prison system. Because the balls it takes to completely stand your ground against the entire field of psychiatry. When they're saying, you don't acknowledge the voices, you don't pretend that the voices are real and what they're saying has any significance. They're auditory hallucinations, they're visual hallucinations, that's all they are. There's no bearing in reality. And for him to say, maybe not. Let me check this out and see what they say. And to start actually like doing interviews with the voices of paranoid schizophrenics and establishing that pattern of just darkness and the spiral and the way it's just regressively dark or progressively dark. I don't know. However you want to look at it, I guess just a matter of perspective.
Well, a lot of people say that they believe in God, but they don't want to acknowledge angels or spirits or, things like that. They basically just want to more think about things on the darkness. And like, say you have a parent and a child is seeing something or talking to something. Oh, don't do that. That's not really there. Oh, but there's a friend there. No, you're just seeing that, there's nobody really there. It's like, we're conditioned to not think that the supernatural is real. And apparently we only see maybe 10% of what's actually out there. There are people that have had severe trauma, especially childhood trauma, that had to check out of their bodies and go into this supernatural world. And they're able to see a lot more than most people are. And there's people that have accounts and, where they'll have someone like a spirit come and talk to them and out of nowhere to a stranger and say, hey, you need to tell them something. And they're like, have to like tap a stranger on the shoulder and tell them something from a loved one. Like there's things that are out there that, most people and animals see it, children see it, but we're kind of conditioned to, not believe it. So these people that are talking to these people, is it not there, or are they really talking to some other spirit out there? But the world is conditioned to think that that's not real and that's just crazy, and then give them a bunch of drugs to stop that behavior.
Yeah, it makes me think of imaginary friends that children have. And then it kind of goes along with this story of the Tibetan monks talked about these beings they could create. It was like an imaginary friend, but it would eventually take on its own. It could, you didn't have to imagine it. It was there. And it could interact with other people. And these things aren't always nice. It's not like you have control over it. So the monks were very careful when a child had an imaginary friend and things like that, because they knew it could become powerful and could become, not so nice. Yeah, so these stories go
Didn't
way
we talk about
back.
the whole like TikTok trend with kids playing around with this idea? Like way back on Ironworks, seems like. Yeah, that's kind of, I don't know, I'll have to go find the story, but it just seems like I remember that there were kids kind of playing around with the idea of that very thing, as kids do. I mean, I know a whole lot of people who played with a fucking Milton Bradley game and now have spirits attached to them for life. So, it's just a game, right?
Yeah.
Me and Josh
played with
both
those
dropped
things when we were
Jerry's
younger.
info here in the chat for you, Jerry.
Do you know that?
Jesse, if you didn't see it.
Do you know that we have that Milton Bradley game here at the house, Zach? I don't know if you know, and we have it because Bob and I being into the occult, and that somebody thought to give it to us as a gift like 30 years ago. And you'll notice that the wrapping has never been taken off the outside of the box. It's completely sealed in the box, but there is a
So it's a
sealed.
demon box, basically.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, it's a collector's item probably at this point, but I think it's in the game cabinet, or again, even put in the thing because I just didn't want to go there. Like strongly did not want to go there. Like really strongly did not want to go there. So yeah,
the spiritual air gap is what they call it.
Well, hi there.
That's Cleo.
It's
Call me
almost
now.
time, huh?
Yeah, it's probably getting close to 8. It is. That's crazy. They always want to play when Daddy's over the show.
So what time is your next show there, Jesse? We don't want
It starts an hour and 10 minutes, so I do got to get rolling here, but I really appreciate you guys, inviting me on. I've had so many people that have invited me on their shows, and then they never just follow through for some odd reason. And I don't really know why that you would ask me to come on your show and then just never
Right? And then
follow
bail.
through. It seems weird, but it's happened to me. More people have done that than me actually be on people's shows for some reason.
That is really unusual.
Well, it was a pleasure having you, man.
Certainly it was. And back at you multifold. The appreciation of you being here, the appreciation of the offer to come hang out with you on your show, man. As Josh said, literally, dude, I'm free as much as I can be. So you reach out when the time is right with your schedule. You know, we do Monday, Wednesday, and Friday early here, 4 a.m. Central for me, which I don't even know what zone you're in right now, my friend. If you don't mind, what part of the country do you live in?
I'm in Canada, and I'm in Alberta, which is just
nice.
above Montana. So we have the Rocky Mountains just to the west of us, and we're
beautiful
mountain time zone. So it's 6:51 p.m. right now.
So
Okay,
where
so
are you
about
in
an hour
Alberta?
difference for me.
I love that area. Where are you in by Calgary or by
Calgary, and my girlfriend.
Edmonton or
Yeah, I live in Calgary. My girlfriend lives in Edmonton, so I'll be going to Edmonton tomorrow to go see her. So I'm in between Calgary and Edmonton all the time.
Oh, that's fabulous. I got to see it for the first time when we had the Flat Earth Conference up in when you had it at Edmonton, and we had it at the Giant Mall at Fantasyland Hotel, I think, or whatever it was called. So it was actually pretty funny. But we did that, and we had the speaker's house down in Banff and outside of Calgary, between that and Banff, and I got to see the area. Totally fell in love with it. Completely fell in love with it. Driving and seeing is when you go over the border, the change in all of the signage that we can really live without. So much highway signs in that day. You get to Canada once you're on the highway. They take it you're smart enough to know that if you don't get off, you don't need a reminder every quarter mile. So little things like that.
Right.
But yeah, the cleanness in the beautiful area.
Man, you have a great trip going to hook up with Miss Joy there. I saw in chat her mentioning that she's currently drying a lot of catnip. So I reached out to her for a great cat food recipe. Unfortunately, all the natural, quote unquote, ones I come across online all start with chicken. And like you said, chicken's horrible. So if she has one, hit me up. Let me know. If she don't, that's great too. But yeah, man, have a great trip. Lots of love to you and her. Welcome to come back anytime. And if she's open to come hang out with you or alone without you and talk about you, whatever she wants to do, she's more than welcome to come hang out as well, man. We love making new friends.
Yep. Did you by any chance do an interview with your neighbor, Robbie Davidson, or no?
No.
Yep. Okay, because I know he's up in Edmonton. So was just curious.
No, again, if anybody wants me to interview anybody, send me their contact info, and I would be more than honored to have anyone on our show.
Sounds really good. Wonderful job you're doing, and thank you.
Yeah, man, keep blowing it up. Lots of love to you and all you guys are doing over there. So, and like I said, we dropped Jerry's info in the chat here, and if not, then Zach will send it over to you for sure.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Thanks again for one
Thank you,
love
Justin.
life. And if they ever ask you to put on a breathing inhibitor again, you know what to say. No maske.
No maske. Just say no.
Love it, man. Take care.
That's good. Have a good interview.
Thank you.
Hope to talk to you again, Jared, very soon. Awesome stuff.
Yeah, very cool guy.
That was good shit. No maske.
No maske.
I love it. I love it. Oh, that was great. Yeah, everybody in chat sending their thanks and their love as well.
Are we still on, or did we say goodnight, everyone?
We are. No, we're still
We're
here
still
for a
on.
second. I was just looking in chat, trying to play catch up. Oh, interesting sketch. I'm not really sure where to get kangaroo meat here in the States, though.
Australia.
So I said here in the States. Wanka. That's not what they say.
I just went British all over your ass.
You went all over the place. You hit all the points. Man, I got 100,000 tabs open. I've got the Rumble, which I don't see the Rumble link, but I have it in chat. So
Poor
I'll drop it
computer.
again.
Poor computer.
I could have sworn I
Yeah. And he may not have had it. It may not have been in there. So I'll drop it.
It's at
in
the very
chat.
top. It's not a blue link. It's in white.
Oh, it's in white. Oh, that's why I didn't see it. I was looking for the actual link. Yep, I do see it now. You're right. It is not clickable for some reason. I'll drop it again in chat. And
it looks like if you just copy the whole thing and then
the whole thing and add
move the Rumble back one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's probably exactly what it is. But I dropped it up there again. Well, yeah, man, awesome, guys. Thank you all for coming hang out, meet Jesse. And just thank you all for always being here. Good Lord, I don't know how sane I would be at this point without you guys. Both here on the call and there in the chat.
How sane you are right now.
Come on. I'm trying to have the benefit, to be fair.
To be fair.
And looks like Liz is done with this shit. She ready to get high.
Get high.
Don't forget to bring a towel.
Get high. We're going to corrupt Liz. Strawberry's not here.
My glaucoma.
It's true. Strawberry's not here.
We're going to get Liz so high. I'm breaking out everything, all the bongs and all kinds of stuff.
It is looking like people in the chat. It is looking like this whole group here, including Liz, is going to be at my house. Oktoberfest, all in the same room. So we may do like some kind of little show all together. From the house, and it will be so cool because I will not be the only girl on the show. It will be the Iron Maiden live from the house.
We'll have you and Liz mud wrestle.
No mud wrestling.
See who wins.
Mud just means I got to take a shower next. If you just don't include the mud, then you can take a shower first. Start from there. Never mind.
And it all fell apart.
Or did it come together?
Oh man, what happened? Bender, what is he on? Oh, good Lord.
8
Bender
weeks
said
on
good night.
Monday.
He's done. He's had enough. Playtime. I miss playtime. He's sleep time now. But
he's like, nope, you missed it, Dad.
Just it, dude. You had your window.
Catch me in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Done.
Darn.
Need to go job.
It'll be real nice to be able to wake up one morning and have a cup of coffee and a joint with Liz.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
The wake and bake at Cammy's house, we can do that. Guess who's next to me?
And you and I still need to get together on logistics.
Mignon.
In the bigger scheme of things.
You let me know. I'll make sure we get you here.
You gonna get it? You gonna take it back? Got it.
You up, buddy? He's back, he said. You up?
A little power nap.
You're ready to say goodnight, right? He was just winding up now. What's up, Minion? I saw a Minion head pop up.
Uh-oh.
What's up, Minion? There he is.
He's gonna get it. He's like, Ma, quit fucking with me. Give me my toy.
That's some bullshit.
Bitch.
What are you, Andrew B? Just fucking give it to me.
Serious?
He doesn't like grabbing it from there. He wants to grab it from the neck.
I know.
Swear, all
Penny Badger.
animals know. You grab that thing by the neck.
Instinct. You don't fuck around with the head, the end, the tail, none of that. And you fuck it up, right?
Yep. A couple shakes, and then you trot with it around a little bit. Like, yeah, I got it.
Dude, the cat's favorite part is when it's all over and they go in around the house with it and they're like going, I'm always look, he's looking like, who got it? Who got the thing? I always know when one of them's bringing it to Dad.
This one, he's squeaking in the background. He's not as crazy. He gets it at night or that. But I was thinking about with his actions. We've all seen the honey badger. We've all heard the honey badger. It's going to take the voiceover of the honey badger and have him with that little squeaker thing, because he sleeps, he's belly up. He wakes up, sees a squeaky toy, the
Just
cobra.
attacking it. Yeah, he don't
It's
get
2:00 in the morning. It's attack. It's squeak. It's time. It's time to get to it. It's the honey badger.
Oh, man,
he's
I
even
had
got the
closed
loose
the
skin.
show,
He's
too.
trying hard to
Damn it.
jump up on the bed with it, and the tall bed with it in his mouth. He's really struggling. I might rescue the little guy. Well, it's pretty sad. He's jumping, and you're jumping and everything, and you can't do it. Okay, there you go. Things
All
we
right,
do.
are we gonna call this thing?
We are. I think it's time to eat.
Might as well.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, we got started a little late, folks. We were planning on
Early.
being here on time since we had a guest. We didn't want to, and we know he only had a certain amount of time, but then he ran into the trouble this time. So
It
for
wasn't me.
once, it wasn't. Yeah,
It wasn't
For once,
me.
it really
It
wasn't
wasn't me.
us. We were all here
Ain't
ready to
my
go. So. Fucking Jesse. No, I'm just kidding. We were actually afraid that Cammy ran him off, but that's a whole other episode. We'll get
But that was a whole other,
That's for the Patreons and the OnlyFans.
Right, that's Patreons only.
we got it
Oh,
recorded.
man.
We'll show you.
I can't get the show back. All right, I love y'all. I can't get back to the show.
We will not.
We will not. Well,
No,
actually,
no.
see, there's a thing
I
we have
just
said
made-
always recording. No, I'm kidding. We don't have that going. We used to threaten to keep it going because every time we'd have people on that weren't actually show, it was the best shows we ever had. Like the Wednesday pre-show thing, those were like shows, dude. They were the best things ever.
Yeah, you
Anyway,
guys
that's
would
another
get
show.
up an hour early for the pre-show. We get everything all talked about, and then on the show,
Right, and we're done.
We just talk
Yeah,
about all of
we're
that.
done.
We're done.
Yeah.
Yep.
We didn't do that today, though. We did
Oh.
good. It was all about just trying to
Yep.
get Jesse in here, and yeah.
And this stuff working.
Yeah, you saw it. He eventually just ended up going to his phone. He tried
To his phone,
computer again,
right.
resetting it again, doing all kinds of stuff. He did it multiple times, and yep.
My stuff works.
Paul
and
warned me
and
when I
glass
set my
neck, but
computer up to. Oh, I'm sorry, Ken.
Oh, no, I'm done.
Paul had warned me not to do any of that Microsoft account stuff with your computer just because of what he's running into now. Because suddenly one thing will expire, and then you have to figure out, oh wait, do I do this? And then all of a sudden things start like having trouble and not talking to each other anymore, and just what he
Yep.
had going on. Fuck, I mean, you're like, what? Gates? Who? What? Microsoft? Who? What? Where? Who? When? What? All right, we love y'all.
They've got their own issues they're going through and funky updates that are bricking people's computers, but whatever.
Good night, everybody.
Oh wow, that's true. I didn't think about it. I'm gonna have to go to 11 when I rebuild my computer. I don't have to though, do I? I can keep
Yeah.
10, can
Not for much longer, I don't think. I don't
I?
know.
Not on startup, huh?
I don't know how they're going to do that. I mean,
Let's talk to Jared. Jared,
yeah,
reach out to me.
I heard there's a way you can spoof it or make it think that it's, I don't know,
It's there.
or that it's able to
We'll have to,
run it when it's not really able to run it. Something.
right. We'll talk about it with Jared. He'll know.
He'll
He knows
know.
everything. He knows how. He knows everything. All right, love y'all. Thank y'all.
Let's do it. Let's
Love
get
y'all.
out of here.
And he does. Yep. Hire a teenager why they still know everything, but like he's out of that thing. It's going to be confusing, but yep.
Love you guys. Have a great rest of your weekend. Thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks to Jesse Howe for coming to hang out with us here on Have No Sphere. What a Friday. What a dang Friday it's been. Well, we'll see you back here next week, or we'll see you over there every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for the Ironworks, kicking off at 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. Central. Otherwise, be good, be well. Do good, do well. We love you. Bye-bye.